Hello everyone and welcome back to the only series out there that combines the story of Magic the Gathering with the physical cards you can win. I'm Seiben and this is Friday Night Lore. On this week's episode of Friday Night Lore, we'll be taking a look at one of Magic's most least understood Planeswalkers. Despite being a strong card in a number of formats, many people were confused when they saw this rather strange Planeswalker appear in the Innistrad block. Today I'd like to try to shed some light on this obscure Planeswalker as we examine the lore behind Tamiyo, the Moon Sage. So why is Tamiyo such a strange case? Well, for one, if you didn't play Magic during the Kamigawa block, you probably have never even heard of her race before. Tamiyo is a Soratami, or Moonfolk. They're a race native to the plane of Kamigawa, and that was the only expansion that ever saw this creature type, until Tamiyo. The Moonfolk are a race of humanoids who cherish collegiate thought over anything else. They live in the skies of Kamigawa, making their homes in the clouds of the plane, using magic to hold up their great flying palaces. They're a rather thin and frail race with blue-gray skin. Not built to be great fighters, the Moonfolk are known for their great intellect. They are a race of thinkers and mages, some of the best on the entire plane. Moonfolk are always asking questions and seeking answers for everything and anything, collecting all possible knowledge of the world and adding it to the great archive of Oboro. This is the capital in the sky, the greatest structure found in Moonfolk culture. It's the center of all study and wisdom and is the seat for some of the greatest minds in the multiverse. Although Moonfolk are accomplished thinkers and mages, their time in the clouds have left them aloof to the races that dwell on the plane's surface. For all their discoveries, they don't really share them with others, indifferent to the events which occur below them. Tamiyo was no exception. She was a great scholar and researcher, noted for taking her work out into the fields for natural observations. She offered great knowledge to the scroll towers of Oboro, but for Tamiyo, it never felt like enough. Her race had been around for a long time, and their greatest minds were beginning to discover all there was to know about Kamigawa. Though the world still held many secrets, to the Moonfolk, those secrets were becoming scarce. It's not known how Tamiyo's Planeswalker spark ignited, but like other learned characters, such as Narset, we can assume that the trigger occurred as a result of some great knowledge being thrust upon her. Perhaps it was the mere discovery that Planeswalkers in other planes existed at all. We don't really know. Regardless of the event itself, there's no doubt that Tamiyo is a true Planeswalker. After her spark ignited, rather than being frightened by the aspect of planeswalking, Tamiyo was filled with unbent excitement. Her journey for knowledge now could never end. Every world she traveled to was just another mystery to uncover. This was Tamiyo. Her life revolved around gathering knowledge from other worlds and adding them to the scrolls of Oboro on Kamigawa. Tamiyo became one of the single greatest collectors of information in the known history of the multiverse. Eventually, her travels led her to the dark plane of Innistrad. As soon as she set foot on the plane's surface, she felt a great force pulling at her mind and swaying in her thoughts. The power that was exerted on her was natural yet magical, powerful yet predictable. Tamiyo pinpointed the source of this strange feeling. It came from Innistrad's silver moon. Tamiyo had seen many worlds with many different types of moons in her life. She's seen planes with multiple moons, golden moons, and no moons at all. But the moon of Innistrad was something else. It held more power than anything else she had ever seen. Even with just a few nights of observation, Tamiyo quickly came to the conclusion that the silver moon of Innistrad put more force onto the world than just its tides. The waters would surge and recede to the moon's command, yes, but so did the races which lived beneath its nightly glow. The werewolves went through bouts of uncontrollable frenzy during specific phases of the moon, while the vampires conducted themselves in a similar manner. The moon of Innistrad was obviously affecting their behavior in some way, but how? Despite her extensive observations and notes, Tamiyo, for the first time, was out of ideas. Luckily for her, she wasn't the only person on the plane who had been studying the world's moon. She discovered an old scholar native to Innistrad, Genric, who had been an astromancer for most of his life. He didn't just study the moon, he could cast magic based on the moon's cycle. If anyone could help Tamiyo unlock the secrets of Innistrad's moon, it would be Genric. The second the moonfolk walked through Genric's door, he knew that Tamiyo was something special. Besides being a creature of great intellect from another world, Genric found Tamiyo to be a soul comparable to his own, someone he could finally share all of his secrets with. Together they conducted research in the Astromancer's Moonstone Tower, going over notes and charts, and combining their findings. Tamiyo found that the moon of Innistrad was in fact magical, based off the silver material which it was comprised of. Silver on this world held special properties, and that much of it collected in one place had the ability to change the entire plane. This was her work as a moon sage. But things changed on Innistrad, and the moon no longer held as many secrets. Something else came to influence the lives of those on Innistrad. The angel Avacyn was restored. Tamiyo was always interested in the study of magic, and what's more magical than an angel that protected the plane's denizens from darkness? The power of the angel was something foreign to Tamiyo, so of course, she had to study it. Tamiyo noted how the return of the angel also caused the holy wards to work again. Avacyn was somehow tied to the holy magic of the plane. She was astonished by the angel's ability to completely wipe out curses and her creation of the Wolfear, a new passive race of werewolves. And one overarching question kept bugging Tamiyo's mind. What was the true nature of the Hell Vault? These were all questions which now filled Tamiyo's scrolls. Needless to say, Innistrad has been an eye-opening world for her. Never before had a moonfolk been so intrigued by a moon. And that's all the lore we have on Tamiyo the Moon Sage right now, guys. Tamiyo is interesting because she appeared in a block that no one really expected. It was this random and odd-looking race from Kamigawa of all places here on Innistrad. I think it was the designer's way of saying, hey, remember Kamigawa? Yeah, not so bad based on this card, right? Regardless of their reasons, the lore to go with Tamiyo is interesting to say the least. It seems kind of half-handed and put in just to try to make some sense of it all, but they could have done a lot more. Like, she could have bumped into Soren Markov on the plane, who could have provided a lot of answers. Right now, I don't even think Tamiyo knows about other Planeswalkers. She could have joined with Soren, traveled with him, maybe even to Zendikar. I think Tamiyo was a missed opportunity for another cool blue Planeswalker other than Jace. I would like to say that we could see Tamiyo again in the future, but I just don't think it'll be anytime soon. If they do ever bring her back, however, I hope they give her a little bit more depth. And that's it for this week's Friday Night Lore, guys. As with all my FNLs, this week I'll be giving away a copy of Tamiyo the Moon Sage. To enter for your chance to win this card, all you have to do is be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment on this video. At the end of the week, I'll select a comment and announce the winner at the end of next week's FNL, so stay tuned to see if you've won. Since I've started my Patreon account, I'm also including special donor-specific giveaways each Friday. This week, I'll be giving away 2 packs of Magic Origins to a random donator from Patreon. Again, I'll announce the winner at the end of next week's video. Now, let's move on and unveil the winners of last week's FNL giveaway. Last week's topic was on the Werewolves of Innistrad, and the original prize was a copy of Huntmaster of the Fells. But me being the big old softy that I am, decided to give away an entire werewolf-themed deck. And so, without further ado, the winner of last week's FNL and new owner of this entire werewolf-themed deck is... britzscissorhands. Congrats, Brits, I'm glad to hear that you wanted to make a werewolf deck for Halloween, and I'm glad to give you this one to celebrate the holiday with. Remember to please check your messages on YouTube, there you'll find a message from me with all the info required to send you this deck. And just for kicks before we leave, I'll give out a random pack of Magic Origins to one of my donators on Patreon. Bobby Z, congratulations, you get this week's pack. Remember guys, if you want to be a part of my Patreon weekly giveaways, which will run side by side with my normal FNLs, consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll be giving out various prizes weekly along with doing monthly things specific for donators. The weekly prizes will range from packs to theme decks to even boxes. You can check out my Patreon here or in the description below. Just watching and enjoying my content is enough for me to be thankful for, but this is just something a little extra and fun to show love to those who decide to donate. In any case guys, this has been Friday Night Lore. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in supporting future content. Another way to support this channel is by visiting my sponsors over at abugames.com. abugames.com is one of the leading online stores for Magic the Gathering, covering everything from singles to booster boxes. FNL and all my giveaways are brought to you directly by ABU Games, and I really suggest checking them out. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's Amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's Amore. Bells will ring